Hi guys, Ronnie here. I'm going to show you how I built this beautiful hanging plant stand that has improved our entryway and impressed our neighbors. I know because they've told me so. Now, beside the overall look, there are two features that I believe set this apart from what you'll normally see in a neighborhood stand. First is the solar lantern lights and hooks. Check out how they look with this night shot. They stay on all night too. Now the second feature is a hidden one, and I'll get to that during the build, but it's one that really sets this apart from a normal welcome stand. The stand is simple to build. Here's how I did it. I build the leg assemblies first. I start out with 4 2x4s at 38 inches long. I then decide what will be the inside of the legs and a mark for a pocket hole in the center at the top. This is going into a 2x6 top, so I'll do 1.5 inch pocket hole setting. While I'm set up for pocket holes, I mark and drill on the two bottom stretchers. They are 1.5 inch square, 26 inches long, and the sign shelf. It's a 2x6 at 26 inches long. Once the holes are drilled, I place two of the legs side by side in the proper position. Pocket holes at the inside top facing each other. Then I clamp two 2.5 inch spacer blocks, one at the top and one toward the bottom. This will keep the legs in place while I attach the top part of the bottom leg assembly. Now this top part of the assembly, this is a 2x4 piece that has each end cut at 45-degree angle, and it is 8.5 inches from long point to long point. I use Titebond 3 glue since this is going outdoors, and then use my long clamp and a board on the top end to clamp it in place. I pre-drill for 4 2.5 inch deck screws, 2 on each side going into the leg. Next, I place the top spacer down 7.5 inches from the top. I clamp and put one screw on one end of each side. It's really secure, and it's one less screw hole to fill with putty. Now I glue, clamp, and screw in the bottom piece of the leg assembly. This piece also has 45-degree angle cuts on both ends, and it is 11.5 inches long point to point. Next up are the feet. They are 4.5 inches long with the bottom inside corner cut at a 45-degree angle and positioned as shown. I glue and nail at each corner, making sure I'm far enough in on the outside edge so the nail doesn't come out the other side. Now the first leg assembly is finished. I'll show the second one uninterrupted so you'll get a better idea how simply and quickly this can go. Now in this one I wound up doing the feet before the top stretcher block, but it really doesn't make a difference. The next thing I do is install the bottom stretchers with the pocket holes facing down. I line them up with the legs so they should be 5.5 inches from outside edge to outside edge. There are several ways you can do this, of course, depending on your workstation. I just think on the fly and clamp this to my bench. It gets the job done. Here I've clamped some wood under the spacer so I can lay the shelf in and have it line up with the spacer blocks. Then I clamp and screw in the pocket hole screws. Now here's the hidden feature I talked about earlier. I place a 3/4 inch square rail in the middle of the shelf as well as in the middle of the bottom side of the top board, and that leaves me room for 2 sign boards to slide in, giving a total of 4 possible signs to have on hand. Now, if you don't want the lantern lights, you could use this as a reversible stand and flip it around to show side 2. You could even replace the 2 3/4 inch thick boards with 6/4 inch ones and have 12 sides. The top is a 2x6 that is 35 inches long, and I cut a 45-degree angle on the underside of each end, as shown here. As far as the bottom stretchers go, you can leave them as is. You could put a board on top, or you could put slats on like I'm going to do with this one. Use your imagination and come up with your own twist. Now, when you're ready to screw in the top, there won't be much room, but you can still access the screws with a right angle adapter for your drill. I use this DeWalt one all the time, and I love it. Here I'm going to show you how I painted the 2 signs I've done so far. I use stencils like this one, center it on the board, and use painter's tape on each end to secure it. Then I use a round brush. This one is a milk paint brush. I lightly dip it in the paint, wipe the brush on a paper towel to get most of the paint off, and lightly dab the paint onto the stencil, straight up and down. This helps prevent bleed through. Make sure you have good coverage. Be careful not to dab on the outside of the stencil. And when you're finished, slowly peel the stencil up and away. If you want, you can get a thin brush and outline the letters. I had a little bleed through, but you can't really tell from a distance, and I can live with it. I put these rubber pads on the bottom of the feet to protect from ground contact. If the boards are a little loose, you can put a shim in to tighten them up so they don't rattle in the wind. If you decide to stain like I did, be sure to seal it. I use Hellman's polyurethane all over the stand. You could paint it. Again, the possibilities are endless. The items I use are listed in the description as well as a cut list. Oh, and the plant, it's artificial. My neighbors had no clue from that distance. Thanks for watching, guys. I always appreciate you stopping by. Take care, and I'll catch you on the next video.